Well, cheers to Janet Yellen, retail trading team. This is Mastro coming to you live from Puppet Show Central with your routine briefing. And that might be the first time I've ever cheered Janet Yellen as much as I enjoyed her cameo as Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars. She is not usually someone that I am raising my glass to, but this morning we are compelled to do so because, as I reduce my mug here, we have a trend day so far. So as we near 4,100 here, we may see a squeeze. We have had, as you can all see, quite the dramatic move so far this morning. In fact, as I look on my little moving average chart here, we have not even closed above, or we have maybe one close above the 8 EMA on the 1 minute chart. Maybe two, but really strong trend so far. So we'll see what happens here at 4,100. Let's see if the bulls don't pop us back, at least for a little bit here. But yeah, really nice squeeze, really really exciting day so far. I've been super busy, that's why I'm late, so apologies for that. I've already closed 2 contracts. I got 4 on here. Just kind of letting these rip. My next action will be if and when we get to 4105 on ES, and so we'll see from there. Seeing a text from my friend Juiceball OJ, who has been crushing it. Too busy to be in the chat today, but he and I have been going back a little bit this morning. It's been quite a special morning so far. So we'll see if it holds. We'll see what happens. We're gonna jump right into everything regardless, and see what we got going on. Get some levels together. I'm just gonna go ahead and do everything live here. We have an exciting day. I'm just really happy, really regardless what happens. We finally have opened up the range a little bit here, and ahead of Powell, nonetheless, or nevertheless, I don't know the correct, whatever word that'd be called, adverb, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so here we are. We're going to jump into the warm-up document and go from there. Let me just make sure all my things are accurate. And, oh man, we're so close to cleaning that up as well. Oof. Very nice day. Very nice day. Okay, here we go. So, switch screens. Boom. Here we are. So, down overnight inventory. Net short. We're used to that dip buy coming in, pushing us back up. Consolidating, not moving. Didn't happen today. In fact, we had that open drive bearish with a, oh, I didn't even put this in here, 40-point IBR. So massive range expansion, exactly what we want to see if you are a trend type trader like myself. But regardless, I think this is just nice to get some volatility back in the market and just get the tape to behave itself a little bit more. I really don't care about what direction we go. Today it's bearish, which is nice, but it's just nice having these wide ranges because that's where we get the most opportunity as traders. Obviously, if you're selling an iron condor at the open, you don't like this, but if you're more of a sniper, as my friend Juiceball might say, or like myself, a trend trader, this is what you want to see. And like I said, I think this is healthy for everyone. Getting volatility back up. Wait till you see that thing as we move forward here. So that's really exciting. You do have that trend look. I don't really need to talk about that too much. And you're seeing, again, that volatility expand. This end number was about 8 yesterday. It's actually getting higher as we speak because the VIX is now up almost 20%. The VIX futures are up 12%. This is what I'm talking about. This is what makes me super excited. Obviously to make money, but again, it's just you want a fun market, especially if you're trading for a living. Boy, it's just not fun when you're just watching paint dry day in day out. And so here we are. So levels are here. I will add some as we get more. We don't have a level below 4167 in my opinion right now because we are in free fall. So once we get that, I will update this warm-up document. It is in the description of this video as always, and I'll keep that update as the day goes on, as well as with any trend if anything else can happen. Again, so yesterday I talked about we are in a position where you might see a huge sell-off out of nowhere. I didn't want to call it a flash crash. This is not a flash crash, but this is kind of exactly what we would expect with that just seemingly artificial depression of volatility. Especially as we looked at the FOMC for tomorrow, there just wasn't any volatility in the cycle. That didn't make sense. So this is just kind of the market correcting itself. Where do we stop? I don't know. I'm not really going to speculate. I'm just going to keep trading what occurs in front of us. So we're about to hit SPX 4100, and we'll see what happens there. Let's jump into the price action. So again, I will keep this updated all day, especially on a day like this where there's going to be a lot going on. So we'll start with our friend, the macro chart. I'm going to switch back to this screen. Okay. So what's going on? We're losing that trend line. So right now we're seeing that fake break above the trend line again, still kind of choppy. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and take this trend line out. I think it's kind of distracting. As you can see, we've just kind of been chopping through it, so I don't put too much credence on it. You saw that lower high rejection we actually touched almost to the, no, we did, almost to the tick. We touched that fourth standard deviation of VWAP. So yeah, really just strong rejection here. Now we're kind of nearing this. We're below because this is a delayed chart. Keep in mind, it's a SPY chart. So we've kind of lost that distribution. We're back in this low volume node. LVN, some might say. Let's see where SPY's at right now. 409.42. So really, right now we're marking at about right here. So we're kind of on the far side of that distribution, going towards the area low volume. We'll see if the trend continues. Again, 4100 may be a strong resistance or support here, may not. So really what I'm watching is, again, it remains obviously that high from yesterday. That high from yesterday is now super important in my opinion, just because of the strength through rejection here. So as we go into FOMC tomorrow, I don't think we're going to retrace the entire move today. So as we go into FOMC tomorrow, it's going to be important to watch what happens at that high. Then the downside, I think again we're on gap watch. So I'm not even marking anything. I'll put it here just for the sake of continuity. So we do have this demand zone right below right about 408 is where it begins. So let's go ahead and mark that on here. And yeah, so for tomorrow and today, it's going to be important to see how price reacts in there. I think if we start to make new lows from last week's move, then it implies that perhaps this was indeed a dead cat bounce, and maybe we might see much lower. And again, I'll be watching those gaps. But I think it all comes down to FOMC tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised to see us start consolidating here, maybe squeeze up a little bit. But really, those key levels are going to be that 404 to 408 on the SPY. Again, if price goes below that low from last week, that is, I think, an important signal on the bear side. And then again, that high from yesterday. So that's the macro look. As you go to the TPO, very exciting chart today. We cleaned up all that junk from the distribution toward the end of last week. We cleaned up those singles. So this, like I said, is a good spot to consolidate, maybe squeeze a little bit. Obviously, don't want it to. I am quite short, but if it does, it does make sense. So we just go ahead and get rid of this outright right here. And what this is going to turn into now, I'm actually going to bring it down like this, is you're seeing that potential island value area around that distribution starting on the 28th. So really from today's high, so the RTH high so far, it's kind of where that supply is going to begin. No supply, basic technical analysis. And again, this green line is from last week, was that significant resistance, then became support. We're going to see if it holds. For the purpose of TPO, I'm just going to go ahead and take this out. Really, that just corresponds to the 4100 area on SPX. So I don't think we need to note anything there too much. Again, really, it goes back to that macro chart. I think if you're trying to find where is that demand zone going to be, 404, 408 on the SPY. Keep it big picture, I think, here. With the TPO, just going to be kind of used for what's going on with value. Where's that POC right now? Is that 4140? Is it shifting down? And do we go clean up this area below 4100 here? So again, because of the size of the range, I think it's a very good day to just kind of pay attention to the most important psychological numbers like that 4100 SPX, like that 4100 ES, and watch what happens with volatility, because volatility is really cranking right now. Really, really cranking. Crushed this prior low. So this was a low from I don't even have my chart going back that far, but I believe the low from February, whenever we had the previous low in volatility, we crushed that. Are now way above that. Not only are we above this, what was once support, and then ostensibly should have become resistance, a little bit resistance right here. Do a little ellipse. So not only do we easily conquer that, we are now trying to pop above this trend line here. And this trend line is huge because it comes from the high of volatility that we had in the middle of March there. So, if you want to be picky, we can also look at this trend line here, something like that. So watch how it interacts to that one slightly above here. Yet as we start to get above these trend lines, and really, man, if we start to get above 2120, I think you can start seeing an extension of this down move. We're at 4100 just about, so let's watch exactly what happens when we hit 4100 to the tick. If we do, oohs, ums, ahs, how many of those we're going to have today, huh? So I'm just going to go back to the execution chart. That's volatility. You see what I'm talking about there. Really huge move. Like I said earlier, VIX is up 20%. The VX is up 12.6%. Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, so I just threw another in there. So we'll see what happens here on our lovely execution chart. So I'll be watching that 4100 area as we navigate it right now, where we haven't quite touched it. I'd like to see us whack that during the briefing here. We're about 2.5 points away, and we're getting a little bit of buying. You're seeing here this big relative volume pouring in, starting at about that 4140 area. So got about 20 points of significant activity going on in terms of relative volume right here. Again, it's kind of wanting to see exactly what happens. We're 1.5 points away when we tap that 4100 strike. 30 cents, 20 cents. I want to see it trade to the tick. There we go. So let's see if some buying comes in. A little bit. This thing's loaded like a spring to the squeeze side, by the way. So if you do get a big squeeze, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. I think it behooves one to be very tight with risk management at this point. If you're trying, especially if you're a scalper, because we are definitely primed for that squeeze. Yet if we lose 4100 here again, let's go back to the TPO real quick. We lose 4100. You see that in conjunction with a breach of these trend lines. Again, you don't want to just see it pop above. You want to see it pop above and hold, especially if it consolidates. That implies that the strength of that trend line is not very strong. When you see that, I think that's when we start to see this move toward the 4095 area here and that continued sell. You're not seeing that reaction around SPX 4100 right now, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, man, I'm stoked. You can probably tell with my voice. It has been, not only has it not been profitable, that's okay. I've dealt with that before. It's just been boring, boring, boring. We're finally getting that excitement come back. We'll see how long it stays. Yeah, this is stuff that I personally, this is what got me into trading, is the dynamic and fun days like this. And I hope that it holds. Like I said, even if we do get a pop, it's a very tradable pop because we have that nice wide range. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude the price action part of that briefing today. I'm going to go ahead and conclude the briefing altogether. So I'll push the newsletter out after this. Those of you who want to engage, I welcome that on either the comment section of this video, the newsletter, or preferably on Twitter. You can find me at Routine Trader, and I will be on there keeping everybody updated all day. And again, one more time to flash the warm-up document. I will keep this updated as well if and when the levels become significant. So right now we're just in free fall until we get a green candle. So for me, what puts in a potential new level, swing low, fake break, whatever, is I need the contrary candle, the candle that's contrary to trend. Right now we're just seeing those red candles, but I will update this as time goes on. I'll keep that TPO updated if it becomes relevant. And yeah, I'm hoping that we have an exciting rest of the day. I hope that everybody is enjoying themselves and taking advantage of some rare big movement. And yeah, besides that, if you did enjoy today's content, and hey, if you thought I was extra enthusiastic, I would appreciate that thumbs up, like on this video. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. And besides that, I am going to do a briefing tomorrow morning, less about what's going on in terms of whatever is tomorrow morning price action, but kind of levels depending on how today ends, especially of what to look for going to FOMC. And yeah, and that is going to be the schedule. So I thank you for watching and stay classy until tomorrow.